At one point, I had an issue with Kirby Smart with how the situation was going with the QBs, but also on top of that, I still do have a slight issue, I would say. But with the way the things have been going, ain't really nothing to say about that. Stetson won it with the offense that he had. The defense did majority of the work. We all know that, because if the defense don't keep the points off the board, the offense can't keep up. Now this year, the offense should be able to keep up with the defense, taking a small step back. And I'm only saying small is because a lot of our people are gone to the draft or whatever the case may be. And then on top of that, nobody knows what any of these teams are looking like. We seen the spring games from a lot of teams, and they look good, they look bad, but that don't speak to nothing until they actually get a chance to play in September. Then I had a little issue, not even an issue, just a slight disagreement with a Bama fan in Dog Nation, and he got his draws all in the wad about me saying that Nick Saban wasn't going. No, not Nick Saban, but Bama. Put it like this: don't put all your eggs in one basket. That Bama gonna run it for another decades, even though he kept saying we're 5 years in. Okay, you're 5 years in, and you just lost 2 of the national championship games that y'all were in for. That's not being dominant. To what I'm trying to say in that regard, Nick Saban been there for about 15 years, and he been running it decently. Okay, but outside of that, if they don't run it back and get it this year, they gonna have a fit. They gonna lose it. But then I just heard something a few seconds ago, listening to another YouTuber by the name of Golden Blue Dude. He mentioned something that did sound like a good idea, but it was coming from the Ohio State athletic director, of having a 2014 playoff and how it would work. It sounds like a good idea. I'm not gonna knock that, and that's giving pretty much every team a chance to go for it and make it. But for me, I'm just wondering, why not add 4 more teams to the current playoff format that's already being used, and give the teams that's in the conferences like UCF and FAMU a chance to play for their national. So it'll be 3 national champions, but 1 for each level. People are talking like that is such a horrible thing. We know a UCF, a Houston, Boise State, Memphis, for like the next, let's say, 5 years, they're not going to pose that big of a threat. Cincinnati was the only one. No, UCF was first, and then Cincinnati. That's like almost a every 2-year time span they pose a threat to a Power 5 team. And then both of those teams are going into the Power 5, which will be the Big 12. Do anybody really think they're going to at least be average in that conference? We're not talking about them going to the SEC, ACC, Big 10, or Pac-12. We're talking about the Big 12. Are they really going to be that big of an issue? Are they going to, as far as football play, are they really going to be that much of a threat to bring in more views? Excuse me. Because of where they're going and where they're coming from into where they're going. I truthfully only see maybe 2 teams out of that becoming a serious issue, and then the other 2 are catching up. That'll be Cincinnati and UCF. They're going to be an issue, and I would like to see what they look like when they play each other for the first time in, I think, 2024 or 2025. I think it's going to be 2025. That'll be the same time that Oklahoma and Texas come into the SEC, which will probably go into 4 pods. A, B, C, D, and A and B will play each other 1 year. B and C will play. A and B will play each other 1 year, and C and D will play each other 1 year. Then it'll constantly rotate like that, so every team in the SEC will get a chance to play each other more on a more consistent basis instead of every 7 years or whenever they meet each other in the SEC championship. To me, that's a good idea. Excuse me. Some people think that the way the Big 12 is doing it up until the other 4 teams join, having a round robin is better because of the 2 best teams play each other. In a sense, I can agree to that, but at the same time, once you have divisions, if you lose in your division, apparently you're not the best. Alabama snuck into the playoffs. Ohio State snuck into the playoffs. Other than that, nobody else has snuck into the playoffs. If that was to happen this year with Georgia, let's say Georgia goes 10-1, and they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship, do you think they're gonna let Georgia sneak into the playoff? If, let's just say, USC, Oregon, I want to say either Washington or somebody like that out of the Pac-12 show up, or Notre Dame, for instance, runs the table again and go 10-11-0, 10 or 11-0, and that will keep Georgia out of the playoff. Or let's say if it switches over to Alabama and Georgia beats Alabama, would that keep Alabama out of the playoff? With everybody complaining about not seeing 2 SEC teams play for, and group of 5 teams are not getting a chance. The only group of 5 team that really did well, as far as the way people think about it, was Cincinnati. And they still got done in bad by a decent Alabama team.